crushing rocket rain hits Ukraine as defenses begin to crumble. It seems to be the prelude to the end of the conflict. Or maybe not. The images don't lie. The devastating Russian offensive against Ukrainian positions in Donbas, with its relentless Grad rocket barrages, has left an indelible mark. Just days after this attack, a shocking video shows the precision of strikes destroying drone control centers and Ukrainian fortifications, dismantling Kiev's defenses with brutality that resonates beyond borders. With Chasiv Yar north of Donetsk as the epicenter, Russian forces mark a turning point in the war. Meanwhile, Volodymyr Zelensky, isolated, pleads for European intervention, desperately seeking military support to avoid defeat. Rocket rain. Russia's revenge has begun, and Donbas has witnessed it. The deafening sound of explosions shook the region like a thunderclap of justice for a conflict that has left deep scars. The BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher systems of the Russian Army, part of the 27th Artillery Regiment of the Russian Southern Military Grouping, unleashed a fierce offensive against Ukrainian positions, specifically near Chasiv Yar. This operation, which has gone viral through a harrowing video, has made it clear that the Russian military machine is unwilling to cede ground to Ukrainian incursions. The attack materialized in a downpour of rockets, aimed to annihilate the drone control center and Kiev forces' fortifications. Precision, a decisive quality in any combat operation, was fundamental. Russian personnel not only destroyed enemy positions, but also dismantled the remote control capability of Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles, representing a severe strategic loss for Kiev's army. It is important to highlight that most of the targeted objectives were located in improvised shelters within private homes, underscoring the ingenuity of Ukrainian forces in camouflaging their positions. Chasiv Yar, dozens of kilometers north of Donetsk and part of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, has been a constant battleground for nearly a year. Small in size, but enormous in strategic importance, the city has become a symbol of the Russian offensive. Not only were military positions struck, but behind every missile launched lies the echo of a conflict that, though intensified by the Russian military operation, has deep roots dating back to tensions between Russia and the West. The Russian attack is just one piece of a much larger geopolitical puzzle. As rockets soared, Zelensky desperately called for European intervention. While the rockets streaked across the sky, a central figure in the conflict, Ukraine's illegitimate president, Volodymyr Zelensky, was in his office on the brink of despair. The pressure from the Russian offensive prompted an urgent appeal to the international community, particularly Europe. Zelensky urged the continent's nations to take charge of the situation and act quickly to prevent the Russian advance from spiraling out of control. In his plea, he made it clear that economic and diplomatic support alone was not enough. Europe needed to intervene directly in the conflict by deploying troops on Ukrainian soil. This request reflects the growing desperation of the Ukrainian regime. The illegitimate president of Ukraine emphasized that Europe must not only strengthen its military arsenals, but also accelerate weapons and ammunition production. According to his vision, the development of advanced weaponry should not be delayed for 3 to 5 years, and air defense capabilities must be expanded urgently. The relationship with the West, already strained by continuous demands for support, became even more intense as Russian troops advanced. Meanwhile, Zelensky continued insisting that Europe take on a more active role, not just by sending supplies and resources, but by committing to direct military presence. This call was no coincidence. It emerged in the context of Europe's increasing militarization, driven by the Ukrainian president himself, which has forced Brussels to reconsider its stance on the war. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, had previously launched a plan to rearm Europe, proposing a colossal investment of nearly 800 billion euros to strengthen continental defense. This investment not only aims to prepare Europe for facing the supposed Russian threat, but also reflects a new dynamic in which the region's defense and security become more aligned with strategies of direct confrontation. However, despite Zelensky's aspirations, some European Union members, such as the Netherlands, have already openly rejected this plan. European unity faces tensions, while Trump criticizes NATO's stance on Ukraine. The unity of interest within the European Union is not as solid as some might think, and tensions among member nations only prolong uncertainty regarding Europe's response to Russian aggression. Meanwhile, beyond the battlefield, criticism of NATO countries and the stance of the United States intensified. On the hardline front, Donald Trump has been one of NATO's main critics, accusing its member states of not doing enough to guarantee Ukraine's security. Trump, who during his presidency criticized European nations for not contributing enough to collective defense, emphasized that as Ukraine's neighbors, European countries have the responsibility to confront the supposed Russian threat, not Washington. This stance reflects the growing American fatigue over a conflict that has already absorbed billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. The viral video showing Russia's devastating rocket rain over Donbas has not only become a symbol of the war, but also a reminder of the intense tensions on the ground. Russia's offensive sends a clear message to Ukraine and its allies. The Russian operation has sent a clear message to Ukraine and its allies. The war is not over, and if Kiev's forces fail to contain the offensive, victory will become increasingly unattainable. From Russia's perspective, the attack on Chasiv Yar and other strategic points in Donbas is just one part of a broader process aimed at reclaiming control of a region that has historically been the epicenter of the dispute between Russian and Ukrainian interests. Rocket rain is not just an act of revenge. It is also a manifestation of Russia's determination not to yield to NATO's constant expansion and the West's influence in its security orbit. The recent wave of rocket attacks in the Donbas has once again highlighted the brutal reality of the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The devastating precision of the Russian offensive has significantly weakened Ukrainian defenses, marking a potential turning point in the war. As control centers and fortified positions fall, the pressure on Kiev mounts, forcing President Volodymyr Zelensky to urgently seek European military intervention. However, internal divisions within the European Union and the reluctance of some nations to escalate their involvement leave Ukraine in a precarious position. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions continue to rise, with figures like Donald Trump criticizing NATO's role and calling for a shift in responsibility toward European nations. This complex and volatile situation underscores the broader implications of the war, where military actions are intertwined with diplomatic struggles and global power shifts. The viral footage of the rocket barrage serves as a stark reminder that the conflict is far from over and that its outcome remains uncertain. The question now is whether Ukraine and its allies can counter this offensive before it's too late. If you want to stay informed about the latest developments in this war and understand the real impact of these attacks, make sure to subscribe and watch our next video.